I guess the reason why I wanted to sleep so much is because I felt like that was the closest thing to like being not here, to being like dead. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into The Mental Man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for all your encouragement in the DMs and comments. You guys also make me feel very, very welcome to be vulnerable, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your empathy and your ability to connect and tell me what you're going through, and then encouraging me to keep being vulnerable, keep sharing, because I want to break the stigma of mental health continually. And you guys have helped me do that, and you guys are doing it yourself, so thank you so much. So you're watching this video probably because you see the title, and it's how I found out I was depressed, how I knew I was depressed. And with mental health being way more open now in society, I think a lot of times words like anxiety and depression, OCD and stuff like that gets thrown around, and I've been guilty of doing that myself. Only until I actually got diagnosed by my therapist did I really start taking the diagnosis serious. So I kind of want to share with you guys how, for me, in my experience, how I found out I was depressed. Now, I just want to say I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert, I'm just sharing my experience. And so just want to let you guys know this is not in place of any like therapy or anything for you guys. But I'm just going to share my experience. Well, I kind of keep it short. Where do I start? I was a teacher and I was a youth pastor. I worked at a church for a number of years. I was a teacher for a year. I taught 6th grade world history. But long story short, I was doing a lot. I've always done a lot. I've always had multiple things going on, and I've always found my identity in the things that I was doing. I'm high functioning, highly skilled in a lot of things, and so I tend to get pulled a lot of different ways. I love people, I love connecting with people, I love helping people. And so for a long time, I did a whole lot of that in the midst of my parents both passing away. My mom passed away in 2011, and the church I was a part of was there to support me through a lot of it, through pretty much all of it, the funeral and everything. But at the same time, I was kind of like going hard. I was going hard as heck, trying to help other people instead of helping myself. And even the church would try to push me to take care of myself, but I was just so driven and so ambitious, and I just kind of pushed myself to the point where I kind of came to the end of myself. So the way I put this is 2015, as I was working at a church, I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was really high functioning. My dad just passed away in 2013 from a heart attack. So I'm coming off of that. I was pretty much put in this position where I needed to make a job transition. I wanted to leave the place I was at, and I needed to like figure out another job situation. I felt like I needed to transition out of that for multiple reasons. But when I stepped down from doing ministry, I took a step back, and I just needed time for myself to take care of myself because I knew there something was wrong. And when I did that is when everything kind of came flooding at me. You know, like if you knew me, if you know me, you know that like publicly and socially, I'm like the life of the party, social butterfly, make everybody laugh, like make your day, tell you encouraging things. So it was very hard for me to start coming to the conclusion that there's something wrong. But here's how it happened. I started going to therapy before I was even diagnosed with anything. I started going to therapy because I knew I had a lot to grieve from. My parents, childhood trauma. And so I saw my therapist for about a year before he actually diagnosed me. But what happened was, we're in 2015, after I left my job at a church. I had no job. I was DJing on the weekends, and during the weeks, man, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't, like, I know it sounds stupid, like, if you never experienced it, but I'd wake up and I just wouldn't want to get up. And I'm not talking about, like, because I'm tired. I'm talking about because I don't want to do anything. I had no drive to do anything. And if you know me, drive is like my second name. You know, I do things, but I had no drive to do anything, to see anybody. And that's what started scaring me, is that I started like canceling I started canceling stuff. I started canceling hanging out with friends. I started canceling appointments. Like, I would avoid seeing people. I would only leave the house if I needed to. I would order in through like Uber Eats. I would try not to leave my house, and as much as I can. And so I guess the reason why I wanted to sleep so much is because I felt like that was the closest thing to like being not here, to being like dead. Like, and I know I mean, it's borderline suicidal, but I never thought about killing myself. I never thought about how I would do it. I never thought about writing a letter and leaving everyone. I just thought about, I don't want to feel what I'm feeling, and the only way I could not feel what I'm feeling is to be asleep. So I'm not going to kill myself, but I just want to be asleep, because when I'm asleep, I don't feel anything. And so that's why I just kept wanting to sleep. And when I wasn't sleeping, I just wanted to get tired again. So I would eat a lot, because that would make me tired. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but actually I realized it's kind of normal. And I was late to everything. I would leave at the last minute because I didn't want to go. And people would think I'm just being late because I'm irresponsible. And a part of it is irresponsibility, but the biggest part of it was just I didn't want to go, and I knew I had to go. Like, I only went to things I knew I had to go to. And when I would go to places, I would put the smile on, and I'd become the life of the party, and I'd become the Malik that everybody knew, when I knew damn right I just wanted to cry, and I was afraid to tell anyone like what I was feeling, because at the time I didn't really know how I was feeling. I didn't think it was depression. I just thought I was being negative. I thought I was being sad. I thought I was being lazy, to be honest. Another thing that happened, which is like the big thing, was I'd be driving. And I just think about, like, what if I drove off into this curb? What if I drove off into this median? What if I just swerved my car into this? And it was just, these thoughts would just be going all the time. And I'm like, this is freaking weird, man. And that was a big sign that something was up, because that was always on my mind. And like, everything was hopeless. Everything was freaking hopeless. Any situation that was good, I turned into something negative. And the best way I can explain it, man, is like, and the best way I've heard it explained too, is like, there's this freaking cloud of depression, and it just follows you. And like, you look at a sunset and you can't you can't smile at it, you can't enjoy it. Someone tells you a piece of good news, you can't. It's like the feeling is not there. The serotonin doesn't hit you the way, it doesn't get released the way. So I'm like, everything sucks. I don't want to be awake. I want to be asleep. I want to drive my car off. I'm thinking about all these thoughts. Once I started having the driving the car off the road thing, I told my therapist, and then he told me, like, and this, I've seen him for almost a year at that point. So he's never diagnosed me with anything. He's never given me any medication. He's never done any of that. So I was like, damn, like, this might be serious. Like, this might be freaking serious. So he gave me this like little diagnosis sheet. And maybe I'll link it. I just don't want you to self-diagnose yourself, because that's dangerous. But he gave me this diagnosis thing, and I filled it out. I think it was like 40 questions or something. And I scored like super. It was asking me like, how, like, what kind of hope, like, do you have hope for tomorrow? Do you feel like things are gonna get better? Do you feel like things are gonna get worse? Do you think about it? All these questions and different levels of questioning, and I scored really high, and high as in not good. And he said, do you think you might be depressed? And dude, I'm telling you, I laughed at him. Because, do you know who I am? I'm freaking Malik, dude. I can't be depressed. I'm the happiest person I freaking know. How could I be depressed? And so really, I fought him on it for that whole session, and then maybe even a session or two after that, until like I broke down, and I said, I'm depressed. Like, I've always felt so hopeful, and I've always felt so positive, but I was depressed. And that's how I knew. Because, another thing was when I called my brother, And he was worried about me because he, of all people, knows I've always been like the positive outlook person. And when I called him, I had nothing good to say, nothing like at all. He was like, dude, there's something up. And my brother he came down that second in one of the other videos. Like, so that was like a bunch of things that kind of like red flags. And then, so that's kind of how I knew. And it saved my life, because if I didn't admit that there was something wrong, dude, it probably would have got worse, and who knows what would have happened. And so I guess I'll have more videos talking about the next steps of how that happened. But for me, this video is just to say, like, you might have something going on, and you're saying, like, you're masking it with something else. A lot for people of faith, it's hard because you tell yourself you should have faith, or you should believe that whatever, right? And it's like, dude, depression, it doesn't matter how positive you are. Dude, there would be days where I'd be on my bed and I'm like, get the F up, Malik. Get up. Get out of bed, bro. And I would tell myself everything I knew I needed to hear. Bro, you are positive, bro. You are so talented, man. You look how far you've come. There's so much to be thankful for. I tried gratefulness. I tried everything. I shamed myself. I said, get the F up, you lazy son of a. And I even one point rolled myself off of my bed, because that was the only action I could take. And I rolled myself off of my bed, and I laid on the ground, and I still couldn't get up. And I remember crying, tears falling into my carpet, and just banging on the floor saying, get the f up. And I couldn't. Eventually I did, when I had to. When I had an appointment to go to, I would get up. And that lasted for a couple weeks. And so, just want to say, if you, I don't know, if any of those sounds like you, and you're like, man, I could relate, man, I'd say, reach out, talk to a friend, find a therapist. I want to talk more about, I'm going to do more videos on, like, finding therapy, finding a therapist, maybe some roadblocks to that. But I just want to encourage you guys that maybe the next part of your journey is admitting something. Admitting there may be something wrong. Maybe that's just it. Maybe that's just it for now. Maybe you don't got to do anything else. Maybe it's just admitting something may be wrong. Considering the possibility that something may be wrong. And if that's you, I just want to let you know you're brave. You're brave for watching this video all the way through. You're brave for considering it. You're brave for waking up every day. And if you deal with depression, you're brave for waking up every day and living despite your depression. So, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you struggle with that, if you can relate, please let me know your experience, whether it's a DM or a comment. Love you guys. Thanks for watching Mental Man. Peace out, guys. See you.